Anna's kidnapping unravels a dark secret. Faison may still be alive. Port Charles was rocked this week when Police Commissioner Anna Devane vanished under mysterious circumstances, leaving behind only unanswered questions and a growing terror that someone from her past, someone she believed dead, has returned from the grave to exact revenge. The seeds of suspicion. The trouble began weeks ago when Anna's worst fears started to crystallize. After years of believing she had finally vanquished one of her greatest enemies, Caesar Faison, Anna's sense of relief shattered the moment she learned that two of his supposedly dead children, Britt Westburn and Nathan West, had miraculously returned to Port Charles. Their sudden reappearance wasn't just a coincidence, it was a harbinger of something far more sinister lurking beneath the surface. Anna, driven by her instincts honed through decades in the WSB, began investigating. Something about Britt and Nathan's resurrection didn't add up. How could they have survived when she had buried them in her memory? Her suspicions grew stronger as she connected the dots between their mysterious return and the shadowy experiments being conducted in Port Charles. The more Anna dug, the clearer one horrifying possibility became. Caesar Faison, the man who had haunted her nightmares for so long, might still be alive. On Wednesday, November 5th, Anna decided it was time to get answers directly from someone she trusted. She called Jason Morgan to her office at the police commissioner's building, her face etched with worry and determination. "I need to know if Faison is still alive," she confessed to Jason, her voice trembling with the weight of the question. Anna explained that she couldn't ignore the signs, no matter how impossible they seemed. Nathan was young and strong, Britt was clever and resilient. But Faison? He was older, and he had been suffering from Huntington's disease when he was supposedly killed. Jason, ever the pragmatist, tried to reassure her. He had shot Faison himself in 2018. He had been there. The man was dead truly, verifiably dead. But Jason also knew that Anna's instincts had saved her life countless times before. Against his better judgment, he agreed to help her investigate. He had already started asking questions about Faison's connection to the Five Poppies organization and underground network connected to Faison's mysterious final project. Before they could delve deeper, however, Jason had to leave to pick up his son Danny. Anna was left alone with her fears, but not for long. A dangerous pursuit. Later that day, Anna left a voicemail for Jack Brennan, the WSB commander. She had come to believe that Jen Sidwell, a mysterious figure operating in the shadows of Port Charles, might be using the specter of Faison to keep her off balance and frightened. It was a psychological game. She theorized a way to manipulate her into making mistakes. Anna thought she had figured it out. She was wrong. As Anna walked to her car in the late afternoon, she had no idea that danger was inches away. A figure sat silently in her backseat, waiting. As Anna started the engine and began to drive, the figure moved with swift precision. A black-gloved hand emerged from the darkness, pressing a cloth saturated with chloroform over Anna's mouth and nose. Within seconds, her world went black. Anna's car was later found abandoned on a desolate stretch of road outside the city, the driver's side door hanging open. When the police arrived to investigate, they discovered nothing but emptiness. Anna Devane, one of Port Charles's most formidable citizens, had vanished into thin air. Jason's critical discovery. The kidnapping sent shockwaves through Port Charles. Felicia Scorpio, Anna's longtime friend and trusted ally, refused to accept that Anna had simply abandoned her duties. She and Damian Spinelli, the brilliant computer expert and loyal friend, immediately began their own investigation. They met with Nathan West to discuss James, Anna's grandson, and a boy caught in the middle of this unfolding nightmare. By the time Felicia and Spinelli left their meeting with Nathan, they had found a glimmer of hope, a small piece of the puzzle that suggested Anna's disappearance wasn't random or senseless. But it was Jason who uncovered the most shocking revelation of all, as he dug deeper into the connections between Britt, Nathan, and the mysterious experiments being conducted in Port Charles. Jason found something he hadn't expected, evidence suggesting that Caesar Faison might actually be alive. The clue was subtle, but unmistakable a lead that changed everything Jason thought he knew about Anna's investigation. When Jason realized the truth, his instincts shifted from skeptical concern to urgent action. Anna had been right all along. Faison had somehow survived. More terrifying still, Faison had likely orchestrated Anna's kidnapping himself. The mysterious voice that had spoken to Anna through a speaker system in the room where she regained consciousness, speaking in a distinctive Danish accent and announcing that she was being taken to a new life, was unmistakably familiar. The mission to save Anna. Faced with this realization, Jason knew what he had to do. He couldn't sit idle while Anna remained in the hands of a man who had plagued Port Charles for decades with his crimes and manipulations. Jason began planning his rescue mission, carefully considering his next moves. He would need to track down where Faison had taken Anna, figure out what his endgame was, and get her out safely. Jason realized that Faison's return wasn't an accident, it was the culmination of months of careful planning. Faison had resurrected his children and used them as bait to lure Anna into investigating. When she got too close to the truth, he had arranged for her kidnapping. Now, with Anna in his clutches, Faison held all the cards. Or so he thought. "I'm going to find her," Jason told those closest to him, his jaw set with determination. He would dig into every connection, follow every lead, and use every resource at his disposal to locate Anna. Faison had made a critical mistake. By taking her, he had given Jason a reason to stop at nothing to bring her home. A city holds its breath. As news of Anna's disappearance spread through Port Charles, fear gripped the city. If Caesar Faison was truly alive and willing to kidnap a police commissioner in broad daylight, who else might be in danger? The investigation into Anna's disappearance would become the consuming focus of the PCPD, and Jason Morgan would become one of Anna's most unlikely saviors. Jason's determination burned bright as he prepared for the dangerous mission ahead. He knew Faison. He understood the man's sadistic nature and his obsession with control. But Jason also knew something else. He had defeated Faison before, and he would do it again. Whatever it took, wherever it led, Jason would not rest until Anna was safe and Faison's reign of terror was finally and permanently brought to an end. The game had begun, and in the shadowy corners of Port Charles, a dangerous man who was supposed to be dead awaited his reckoning with a woman who had dedicated her life to stopping him. In the coming days, Port Charles would witness a confrontation between good and evil that would either finally end one of the city's darkest legacies or plunge everyone into a nightmare far worse than anyone could imagine. Next, the peaceful facade of Port Charles is crumbling as a sinister figure orchestrates his dangerous schemes across the city. Jen Sidwell, the calculated and cunning antagonist who arrived in Port Charles with mysterious intentions, continues to weave his web of manipulation and deception, leaving those around him questioning whether they can trust their own allies. Sidwell's presence in Port Charles was never meant to be innocent. Since purchasing the historic Wyndemere estate, the imposing figure has been systematically building his influence, making calculated moves that threaten to destabilize the very foundations of the city's power structure. But perhaps his most intriguing move yet involves his growing attention toward Ava Jerome, one of Port Charles's most formidable women. The allure of Ava Jerome. Ava Jerome has never been one to shy away from danger. As an accomplished art dealer with a complicated past, she has navigated treacherous waters and emerged stronger each time. However, her recent interactions with Jen Sidwell suggest that she may be swimming into deeper, more treacherous currents than she realizes. Sidwell has made his interest in Ava unmistakably clear, and according to those close to the situation, he has managed to impress her in ways that other men in Port Charles have failed to do. The charismatic villain, known for his manipulation and cunning intelligence, appears to be turning his full attention toward the sophisticated Ava. Whether this is genuine romantic interest or another calculated move in his larger game remains a matter of speculation among Port Charles insiders. "He's different," Ava remarked during a recent encounter at a Port Charles establishment. When questioned further about her burgeoning connection with the mysterious businessman, she offered a slight smile. There's something about him, an intensity, a clarity of purpose. He knows what he wants. Yet those who know Sidwell well understand that what he wants is rarely what it appears to be on the surface. His every move is calculated, each gesture measured, and each word chosen with precision. The question that haunts those who care about Ava is simple, but troubling. Is she being courted, or is she being played? Marco's suspicious proposal. While Sidwell continues his calculated pursuit of Ava, his personal life appears to be moving forward in ways that seem equally suspicious to outside observers. His son, Marco Rios, has developed a romantic relationship with Lucas Jones, the respectable uncle of Josslyn Jacks and member of one of Port Charles's most distinguished families. On the surface, Marco and Lucas's relationship appears to be genuine and deepening. The two have grown closer over recent weeks, and their connection has blossomed into something that seemed destined for commitment. However, recent developments have raised red flags among those monitoring the situation closely. Marco has made a startling proposal to Lucas, one that initially appears romantic, but carries undercurrents of something far more sinister. He has invited Lucas to move in with him at Wyndemere, the sprawling Casadini estate now under Jen Sidwell's ownership. "Move in with you at Wyndemere?" Lucas asked, surprise evident in his voice when Marco extended the invitation during a private moment between them. His hesitation was palpable, though not entirely rooted in reluctance about the relationship itself. "Why not?" Marco responded smoothly. "We're serious about each other. It makes sense. My father's estate is more than large enough." "And your father's estate?" Lucas interrupted, the pieces beginning to fall into place in his mind. "Marco, that's a lot to process. The proposition itself wouldn't be unusual for a couple at their stage of relationship development. What makes it troubling, however, is the timing and the circumstances surrounding it. Lucas Jones, despite his genteel upbringing, is no fool. He understands that nothing about Jen Sidwell's motivations is straightforward, and the idea of moving into the villain's home ostensibly to be closer to Marco feels laden with hidden meanings and potential danger. The web of manipulation. Those familiar with Jen Sidwell's operations in Port Charles recognize a pattern in his behavior. He doesn't make moves without calculating their advantage. Every relationship is a potential tool. Every invitation carries the weight of ulterior motive. The question that looms large is whether Marco's romantic interest in Lucas is genuine or whether it represents another layer of Sidwell's grand design. By inviting Lucas to Wyndemere, Sidwell would place a member of the Quartermain Jones family directly within his sphere of influence. Lucas, while not actively involved in the more criminal aspects of Port Charles society, maintains connections throughout the city. His presence at Wyndemere would provide Sidwell with access to information, relationships, and leverage that might otherwise remain beyond his reach. Furthermore, the move would serve to compromise Lucas's independence and objectivity. Living under Sidwell's roof, even as a guest or member of the household, would create a complicated dynamic that could be exploited. Sidwell is a master of psychological manipulation, and proximity is his greatest asset. Josslyn's dangerous assignment. Adding another layer of complexity to this already complicated situation is the fact that Josslyn Jacks has recently received a new assignment from her employers at the WSB World Security Bureau, working as an agent for the Bureau under the direction of Jack Brennan. Josslyn has been tasked with gathering intelligence on, of all people, Jen Sidwell himself. Brennan, recognizing that Marco represents a potential point of access to Sidwell, has specifically assigned Josslyn to use her family connection to Lucas as a way to get closer to Marco and, through him, to Sidwell. This creates a Byzantine situation where Josslyn is essentially being asked to spy on her uncle's boyfriend, potentially putting Lucas in an untenable position if discovered. "Your new assignment is straightforward," Brennan explained during their briefing, handing Josslyn a file marked with Sidwell's name. "We need information, real intelligence about what he's planning and who he's connected to." Marco Rios is your entry point. Josslyn absorbed the information with the professional demeanor she has cultivated since joining the WSB, though the personal implications were not lost on her. Using her family relationships for intelligence gathering felt like crossing a line, but she understood that the mission was bigger than personal comfort. A city on edge. The convergence of these situations, Sidwell's romantic interest in Ava, Marco's suspicious proposal to Lucas, and Josslyn's surveillance mission has created a pressure cooker of danger and deception in Port Charles. Each player believes they understand the game being played, but none can be entirely certain of the rules or the true objectives. Ava Jerome, for all her sophistication and experience, may be allowing her attraction to Sidwell's intensity to cloud her judgment about his true intentions. She has weathered storms before, but Sidwell represents a different kind of danger, one that operates not through violence, but through psychological manipulation and calculated strategy. Lucas Jones finds himself caught between his romantic feelings for Marco and the creeping realization that accepting the invitation to Wyndemere might entangle him in something far beyond a simple domestic arrangement. The protective members of his family, particularly his uncle, one of Port Charles's most respected figures, have expressed concern about the speed and intensity of his relationship with Marco. But love has a way of clouding judgment, and Josslyn Jax, young and committed to her duties as a WSB agent, must now navigate the treacherous waters of using her family relationships as intelligence-gathering tools, all while aware that Brennan's confidence in her abilities might be misplaced if personal connections complicate her objectivity. The Wyndemere question. The Wyndemere estate itself has become central to understanding Sidwell's broader agenda. Why did he purchase this iconic location? What is his connection to the Casadini family, if any? And what does his ownership of the property mean for Port Charles's power dynamics? These questions linger unanswered as Port Charles residents watch Sidwell consolidate his position and extend his reach into the city's most intimate relationships. The beautiful estate, with its Gothic architecture and storied history, has become the physical manifestation of Sidwell's expanding influence, a headquarters from which his various schemes radiate outward like concentric circles of danger. In Port Charles, romance and betrayal often walk hand in hand, as Gen Sidwell continues his calculated campaign to reshape the city according to his hidden agenda. Those closest to him must navigate the murky waters between genuine emotion and manipulative strategy. Ava's potential romantic involvement, Marco's suspicious proposal, and Josslyn's dangerous intelligence mission have created a situation where no one can be entirely certain who to trust or what anyone's true motivations might be. The stage is set for confrontation, revelation, and likely heartbreak. All that remains is for the truth about Sidwell's intentions and those of everyone caught in his web to finally emerge from the shadows. Next, we will dive deep into the emotional farewell of soap legend Erika Slezak as she wraps up her captivating run as Veronica Bard, Monica Quartermain's enigmatic long-lost sister. Erika Slezak's departure from General Hospital this week marks the end of a whirlwind guest arc that left fans utterly spellbound and craving more. From the instant she stepped into the role of Ronnie, Slezak channeled a magnetic blend of vulnerability and cunning that elevated the Quartermain storyline to new heights of intrigue. Her performance wasn't just a fleeting cameo, it was a masterclass in daytime drama, showcasing why she's long been hailed as one of the genre's most versatile talents. Imagine the Quartermain mansion buzzing with secrets, and Slezak's Ronnie arriving like a storm cloud, stirring up family tensions that had been simmering for decades. We couldn't help but root for her, even as the plot twists revealed her deeper involvement in an elaborate deception involving the estate's inheritance. This layered portrayal reminded us of classic soap vixens who blur the lines between ally and antagonist, drawing viewers into a web of moral ambiguity that kept us glued to every scene. Slezak's debut on September 26th was nothing short of electric, instantly transforming the show's dynamic with her theater-honed precision and emotional depth. Trained on stages across Broadway and beyond, she brought a theatrical intensity to Port Charles that felt fresh yet nostalgic, perfectly suiting the Quartermain clan's operatic feuds. Picture the moment Ronnie first crosses the threshold of the mansion, her eyes scanning the opulent halls with a mix of awe and calculated poise, immediately clashing with the residents' suspicions. Despite knowing Ronnie's true motives tied to a fraudulent claim on the property, Slezak made her sympathetic, layering in subtle hints of regret and longing for the sisterly bond with Monica that fate had denied her. This short-term stint wasn't merely filler, it injected vitality into the family saga, proving how a powerhouse like Slezak can revitalize even familiar tropes. Fans raved online about her ability to command the screen, with social media buzzing about potential Emmy nods for this guest role that packed the punch of a full-season arc. The rivalry between Ronnie and Tracy Quartermain was pure fireworks from day one, a clash of titans that highlighted the best of soap opera antagonism. Tracy, ever the sharp-tongued guardian of the family legacy, saw right through Ronnie's facade, leading to explosive confrontations that crackled with wit and venom. Their initial encounter in the mansion's drawing room escalated quickly, Tracy accusing Ronnie of being a gold-digging imposter, while Ronnie fired back with tales of a shared childhood Monica had long forgotten, twisting the knife of doubt into the family's core. Slezak and Jane Elliott, who embodies Tracy's unyielding steel, shared an undeniable chemistry that felt organic and electric, born from their mutual respect as industry veterans. This feud wasn't just surface-level bickering, it delved into themes of loyalty, betrayal, and the Quartermain women's complicated love for Monica, who found herself torn between welcoming a sister and heeding Tracy's warnings. Watching these two icons spar was like reliving the golden age of soaps, where verbal duels could rival any courtroom thriller, leaving audiences dissecting every barbed line for hidden meanings. What made this pairing so riveting was how it echoed Slezak's storied history of iconic rivalries, a nod to her groundbreaking work on One Life to Live. Debuting in 1971 as Victoria Vicky Lord, Slezak brought to life a character who navigated multiple personalities, tumultuous romances, and fierce battles that defined daytime TV. Her most legendary feud was with Dorian Lord, played by Robin Strasser, a rivalry fueled by class differences, romantic entanglements, and endless schemes that spanned decades and captivated millions. Vicky and Dorian's showdowns often centered on Longview's power structures, much like Ronnie and Tracy's tussle over the Quartermain fortune, where personal histories clashed with present-day ambitions. General Hospital's writers cleverly borrowed this blueprint, amplifying the drama with modern twists like Ronnie's fabricated documents and Tracy's private investigations that kept the tension boiling. Slezak's ability to infuse Ronnie with Vicky's resilient spirit made the role feel like a spiritual successor, bridging to soap eras and reminding fans why these feuds endure as cornerstones of the genre. Jane Elliott's tenure as Tracy Quartermain, starting in 1978, has been a cornerstone of General Hospital's enduring appeal, evolving from cutthroat villainy to nuanced family matriarch. Her early battles with Monica, portrayed by the late Leslie Charleson, were legendary, fueled by sibling rivalry over Edward's affections and the family's business empire. They often spiraled into sabotage and heartbreak. Over the years, Tracy's edges softened through heartfelt reconciliations, like the time she supported Monica during health scares, revealing a deep-seated love beneath the sarcasm. This growth added layers to Elliott's performance, making Tracy a fan favorite who balances humor with pathos. In Ronnie's arc, we saw echoes of that Monica-Tracy dynamic, with Ronnie challenging Tracy's authority in ways that forced both women to confront their protective instincts toward Monica. It's this potential for redemption that fuels speculation. Could a future storyline see Ronnie and Tracy forge an uneasy alliance against a bigger threat, like an external corporate raider eyeing the mansion? Such developments would honor Elliott's legacy while giving Slezak room to return in a more redemptive light. As Slezak bids adieu to Port Charles, the Quartermain storyline feels incomplete without Ronnie's shadow lingering, sparking hopes for her reprisal among devoted viewers. Her presence not only reignited interest in Monica's backstory, but also opened doors to unexplored family lore, such as rumored half-siblings or hidden trusts that could resurface in upcoming episodes, inventing new conflicts, like Ronnie allying with a Quartermain cousin to expose a larger scam, would add thrilling layers, analyzing how such twists test the family's bonds. Fans have flooded forums with theories, from Ronnie's possible return as a reformed ally to a dramatic reveal tying her to the Casadinis, blending old and new rivalries. Slezak's exit leaves a void, but it also teases endless possibilities, underscoring General Hospital's knack for weaving guest stars into its rich tapestry. In a touching post on her official website, Erika Slezak poured out her heartfelt thanks to the passionate General Hospital audience, reflecting on the joy of her brief but impactful journey. Your emails have truly warmed my heart. I'm overjoyed that my time as Ronnie resonated with you all, she shared, her words conveying genuine appreciation for the outpouring of support. She delved deeper, expressing how returning to soaps after years away felt like coming home. Working in this beloved medium again was a dream, filled with creativity and camaraderie that reignited my passion. Slezak highlighted the personal connections formed, noting how the role allowed her to explore themes of family and deception that mirrored her own career's twists and turns. A highlight of her GH experience was reuniting with key figures from her past, adding emotional weight to the production. Frank Valentini, who helmed One Life to Live during its final seasons and now steers General Hospital, welcomed Slezak with open arms, fostering a collaborative set that echoed their OLTL days of innovative storytelling. Their partnership shone through in Ronnie's arc, where bold choices like her mid-episode breakdown, revealing a fabricated past-pushed narrative boundaries. Equally moving was her on-screen reconnection with Chris McKenna, once her fictional son Joey Buchanan on OLTL, and now embodying the suave Jack Brennan on GH. In a poignant scene, their characters shared a charged exchange that hinted at unspoken histories, blending meet and nods with fresh drama. Slezak elaborated, reuniting with Frank and Chris was magical. It brought back memories while creating new ones. GH's talented ensemble and visionary writers made every day special. She closed with warmth. Thank you for tuning in. Keep supporting this phenomenal show. With love, Erika. Erika Slezak's 6 Daytime Emmy wins for Vicki Lord on One Life to Live stand as a testament to her unparalleled craft, earned through over 41 years of embodying a woman who faced dissociative identity disorder, political upheavals, and epic loves with unyielding grace. From Vicki's newspaper empire battles to her heartfelt family reconciliations, Slezak's portrayal captured the human spirit's resilience, influencing generations of actors and writers. OLTL's 2012 cancellation was a loss, but her GH cameo proved her timeless appeal, delivering moments like Ronnie's tearful confrontation with Monica that echoed Vicki's emotional depth. Longtime fans cherished every frame, from subtle facial tics signaling deceit to explosive monologues unpacking sisterly longing. This return wasn't just a treat, it reaffirmed Slezak's status as soap royalty, inspiring calls for more crossovers that could blend Port Charles with Longview lore in fan-favorite ways. In analyzing Slezak's impact, her Ronnie arc dissected the Quartermain legacy through a fresh lens, questioning inheritance's true value amid deception. Scenes where she manipulated documents to claim the mansion delved into ethical dilemmas, mirroring real-world family disputes amplified by soap flair. Her chemistry with Elliot dissected power dynamics between women, showing how rivalry can evolve into respect, much like Tracy's arc with Monica. Invented extensions, such as Ronnie discovering a genuine Quartermain artifact that validates part of her claim, could lead to redemption, analyzing themes of forgiveness in fractured families. Overall, Slezak's tenure enriched GH's narrative fabric, leaving us pondering Ronnie's off-screen fate and eagerly awaiting potential returns that could heal or shatter the Quartermains anew. The ripple effects of Slezak's performance extend to broader soap trends, where veteran returns like hers revitalize sagging ratings and spark online buzz. Her ability to humanize a schemer invited deeper viewer empathy, a technique honed from Vicky's multifaceted arcs. Detailed breakdowns of key episodes reveal her improvisational flair ad-libbed lines during the Tracy feud added raw authenticity, heightening tension. As GH navigates its future, incorporating more such guest legends could explore untapped backstories, like Ronnie's pre-Port Charles life involving international intrigue. Fans speculate on cross-soap cameos, perhaps Ronnie crossing paths with LTL survivors, blending universes in exciting analyses of shared themes like legacy and loss. Ultimately, Erika Slezak's GH chapter closes on a high note, but her legacy ensures Ronnie's spirit haunts the Quartermain halls. From electrifying debuts to feud-fueled drama, she delivered pure soap magic that honored her roots while innovating for today. We join the chorus in hoping for her encore, where Ronnie might return not as foe, but as the sister Monica deserves, mending rifts in ways only Slezak can portray with such profound heart.